Border Battles back for another episode. It's a buy round. It's for those wondering, it's the buy round for those that didn't make the finals. Goodbye.
Is that a direct jab at me? Because both the teams you go for played finals, and they're playing each other, Melbourne, Sydney.
No, they go. No, I just sort of. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I've swiftly transitioned from Essendon's AFL men's team to the Essendon AFL women's team because we won, and
Yep.
I don't know that feeling.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But I did see that Essendon's men's team won their first ever game at Eddie or Marvel as well. So
That's good.
good one.
That's good.
That's good.
No, good stuff. So we're talking. Well, we're going to do a bit of a season wrap, and then we might do a bit of a finals.
The best that we
preview.
can.
Yeah, the best that we can. Well, Huddo has a lot of stats, and I'm an idiot, so I'm going to do my best and go, But no, let's see what I've learned. This will be a good test to see if I can hold my own in this conversation.
I think you'll know some stuff.
Yeah,
there's going to be teams where you're like, what's going on here? I don't give a fuck about them. Didn't they go bowling?
Yes. Well, still, it's pretty funny.
But there's going to be teams that you're like, I'm across this.
Yeah.
I'm all about
well,
this. So
let's get bloody straight into it.
Let me just adjust this because I don't want you cheating off me stats.
I dead set can't read that far.
Nah,
you know that for a fact.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to make you say it.
Okay.
No, I wanted everyone to know.
All right.
I better turn my brightness up, otherwise I can't see it either.
Better turn me brightness up.
Right. Do we want to do it in alphabetical order or ladder order?
Whatever you want. So
or do you want to just go full shuffle?
No, that's all right. So what are we going to do? What's the breakdown? We're going team by team.
Yeah, we can go team by team, and
This will take 3 hours.
Nah, it won't because we're not going to bloody talk about everything.
Good.
But we kind of this season declared ourselves a SuperCoach podcast, didn't we? I guess.
Sort of.
We probably won't continue that because we're all idiots.
Yeah.
We could have continued it probably 6 months ago when I was top 1,000, but then I just
dropped.
And
now,
now I'm only 5,000. But Simmo's on the rise, so we could come back in 2 years when Simmo wins it all.
That's it. Well, come on. What do we got?
All right, so Adelaide. We spoke about it before we started because I wanted to get a bit of a vibe. Top 5 SuperCoach scorers: Laird, Dawson, Rob, Keys, and Tex.
I picked 3 of those.
3 of those.
Yep.
Tex was a surprise for me.
Yep.
91.
Yep.
Key forwards.
Now is this total points or average points?
This is average.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously,
because he was out for a while.
Well, was he?
Or was that last season?
Yeah, he was out last season for a while for the racism situation. This year though, I feel like he played a few games.
Okay.
And by a few, I mean most.
Okay. Well, that's all right.
And then by most, I mean all but 3.
Okay. All right. We'll keep moving. See,
Sorry.
This is fact number 1 being checked.
But 3 players, so Rob, Dawson and Laird all averaged over 100. So Laird was the best in the comp for points per minute. He averaged 1.3 points per minute he played. Now, this was a weird stat because the SuperCoach app gives you so for Laird, he averaged 102 minutes.
Yep.
But a footy game goes for 80 minutes clock time.
Yeah.
Because there's a dude in there going, stop.
Yeah.
And then when the umpire goes, time back on, he times it again. But
right.
it should be 80 minutes of clock time. But they've done it the game went for 131 minutes, blah, 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 with time on and all that stuff. It's weird.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to make that a metric across all, to make it accurate, you would have to do it off the same. You'd have to have a control.
Yeah, but they don't seem to have one.
Okay, all right.
It's just based on each game. It's weird. I don't get it.
Okay.
But the worst SuperCoach average was Ben Davis. Do you know Ben Davis? I believe he was a father's son.
Yeah.
If we had Zach here, he'd be like, yes or no.
Yeah, he probably would. Is that old mate Davis from Swans? Used to be number 6.
Nick Davis?
Yeah.
Nah.
I guess he wouldn't be old enough.
Nah, I think also Ben Davis is Indigenous.
Oh, okay.
Not that Nick Davis couldn't have...
Yeah, but it's not.
No.
Yeah, fair enough.
I couldn't tell you... Well, I better Google it now before we make complete full... Do you know this podcast is going to go for fucking 2 hours just because we're Googling who people are? Ben Davis... Nah, already lost it. Don't care.
Okay, keep going.
He averaged 16.7.
Okay.
So hopefully you didn't have him in your SuperCoach teams.
No, hopefully not.
Sam Berry, the biggest increase in average. So I've done this. You had to have played the year before. So 2021, you had to have played a minimum of 3 games in both years.
Yeah.
He went from a 46 average to 86.9. So is that something we want to look at next year, maybe, Simon?
Well, if you played a few more games, maybe.
Do you like Sam Berry? Do you know Sam Berry?
Nah, don't know.
I fairly confident he ended the comp with most tackles in the comp.
Good on him.
Yeah. Yeah, we did the points per minute. Ben Keys ended the year 170k less than when he started.
Yep.
Good for Hudson's SuperCoach team. You had him.
Yep, not very good, is it?
Approved by me. Jordan Dawson was actually picked the highest percent of teams come round 23 at 26.3%.
Yeah, that's true. Because
would you have picked Laird though?
What's that?
Like, would you have said, if I said to you who was the highest pick percent, would you have said Laird based on the fact that he had the highest average in the comp by more than by 5 SuperCoach points per week?
Okay, I can make a comment here. So by around 23, you were saying.
Yeah.
I think due to circumstances in people's team, a lot of people had Crisp and a lot of people had Short, that he was traded out, and then they were probably priced out of much like the housing market. They were priced out of Laird, and Dawson was a little bit more affordable at that point.
That's really good from you.
Yeah, there you go.
Well done.
That's what I think. That's what I think.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think Laird, before we even realised, like a lot of people would have had him, no doubt, but midfield probably wasn't the worst position. Like you look at your mids, even your M8 should be averaging over 105, 106 by the end of the season. So, whereas like a lot of people would have had, like you said, Short and Crisp being stinkers.
Yeah, they fell off a bit.
You know what's crazy though? We'll talk about it when we get to those teams. But it's a little hint. Both are in their team's top 5 SuperCoach averages.
Yeah. Well, I mean, overall, like for the first 2/3 of the season, they were doing all right, but then they fell off a bit.
Yeah. So that was Adelaide finished. We better get the AFL ladder and actually mention where they ended up. AFL ladder.
They finished all right.
Yeah, well, fucking real. They came 14th. So that'll mean pick 5.
Okay, is that how that works?
Which is nice. And Isaac Rankin has requested a trade to them as well.
Okay.
So things are looking up in South Australia. Well, in the red, yellow and blue part of South Australia.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think those two teams are really significant because I think a couple of years ago, Port, like you wouldn't even look at Adelaide. Port was the team you would want to go to and want to barrack for and that sort of thing, but it has swapped.
Maybe, like I would say a decade ago it was Port.
Yeah.
Even until maybe a little bit more like I know this was early 2000s, but like a Tread Ray, that era of Port.
Corns.
Yeah. Oh. Who was the midfielder? No, not Voss. Not Voss?
Nah.
Did he play at Port at all?
I don't think so. Brisbane.
Yeah, I thought he might have been there for a touch. Or did he? Oh, he coached. Good from us.
Yeah, anyway. But
you can tell
Port were good
the non-footy aspect of this footy podcast.
Yeah, Port were good until they got beaten. I think it was against Geelong in the grand final. It was like by 160 points or something ridiculous.
Well, it's funny.
It was a grand final.
I could probably bond over that because Adelaide lost to Richmond by a lot of points too. Not as much as GWS did, but maybe they can bond over losing in grand finals by too many points.
Absolutely insane.
How do you get to be essentially the second best team and then just get absolute... Like, how was the first best team that... Like, that Geelong team was insane.
Very good.
If it was that year.
With that real handsome bloke as captain.
Mackie?
The bald guy.
Oh, bald guy. Paul Chapman.
No, he's not handsome. What's his...
He's not
Number
handsome.
4?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
Gary Ablett?
No, not even. No, it doesn't matter.
No, it does now, because I want to know who you think's handsome. Bald guy Geelong. Paul Chapman, Gary Ablett, Chris Judd.
Nah.
He never played for Geelong.
No.
Tom Harley.
Yeah, I think it was him. Look him up. The handsome man.
Yeah, he's pretty handsome. Good jawline.
Yeah,
he could be a movie star for sure.
He's done well.
Yeah.
He was captain, wasn't he?
Probably. He wore a glove.
He was my captain.
Did he wear a glove?
He was my captain. I don't think so. Anyway, we'll move on. Who we got next?
Brisbane.
Brisbane.
Brisbane, who are in the finals.
Yeah.
Won't go far, I don't think.
Yep.
Based on everything that's happening.
Yep.
But we'll get the first pick in the draft, I believe.
Why is that?
Because one or two, because one of the top two players is
Father son.
yes.
Okay.
Ashcroft, who the wrong dad I named a couple of weeks ago, and Zach, the only one that actually knows footy, he corrected me.
Oh, well, there you go. That's all right.
Because I mentioned Ashcroft that probably never played footy.
No, well, that's all right.
But you get that on the big jobs.
I mean, I've done that a few times, would you believe? And that, yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. Righto, what do you got?
Now we're getting into the... Can you name the top 5 Supercoach scorers?
Lockie
Based on
Neal.
average. Yes.
It won't be in order. So Lockie Neal.
Yeah.
I reckon Daniel Rich.
Yeah.
Charlie Cameron.
No.
Ooh.
I think he was quite high, but
McCluggage.
Yeah, he was second, in fact. Him and Neil were the only people to average over a ton at Brisbane.
There we go. Is there a bloke named McStay?
There is, but he's not really a Supercoach threat.
Okay. Well, that's
okay. So the only two you missed were Jared Lyons.
Yeah.
Which he flies under the radar.
Yeah.
Although his name is the team.
Yeah.
And the fifth highest average, I don't even think Zach would have guessed this, Reece Matheson.
Jeez.
The barometer.
There you go. Yeah, fair enough.
Came in, I think he played the last 6 games of the season and averaged 90.2.
Yeah, right.
Harry Sharp, the worst, 21.8.
Yep.
What do we got? Kadeen Coleman was the biggest rise in Supercoach average from 48.4 to 87. We know he's been very good.
Yep.
The biggest loser and the biggest loss of Supercoach average, Dane Zorko.
Yeah, well...
109.4 to 82.3.
Yeah, well, you're a wank. So
that's
on you.
That's all we've said about him.
Yeah.
The other thing, Jared Lyons ended the year 205k cheaper than when he started.
Yeah, okay.
But the big one from this...
Cheaper? So they obviously thought he was going to have a breakout year or something, did they?
No, well, he went down 205k based on his average compared to what he ended the year at last year.
Yeah, okay.
But the biggest thing about Brisbane, Lockie Neal... at the end of round 23 was in 70.8% of teams.
Yep.
Which is with the most in the comp.
Yep.
The next highest Brisbane player was 7.7% of teams.
Was that Rich?
James Tunstall.
Oh, is it a rookie, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
So there was a 63.1% difference between the most owned and the second most.
Yeah, that's huge.
So the well of Brisbane Supercoach was only dipped into by Lockie Neal owners.
Yeah.
So yeah, finals coming up for them. Not sure that'll go any good for them.
Yeah, I think their own crowd won't be on this. So I really think...
I think Brisbane people are off Brisbane.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think their own fans will be off them. And like, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here, but I think that now would be... I know it's finals, but they need to get rid of him. They need to sit him down.
Yeah, just...
Righto, Zorks, you're done, mate. You're a dickhead.
Well, you see, there's a thing happening in the NFL at the moment. Sorry to change subjects, and it gets pretty heavy, but a rookie punter for the Buffalo Bills, Matt Araiza, I think that's his surname.
Araiza.
Araiza, has this week been accused of... raping a 17-year-old girl. Gang, like with 2 other blokes. And Buffalo have cut him. They've got rid of him. And people on Twitter, being the toxic place that it is, have said, is it not innocent until proven guilty? And it's like, well, I mean, I'm sure that even if he is innocent, Buffalo don't want this situation occurring within their 4 walls.
Yeah.
So... not saying there is no way that I'm saying what Dane Zorko did is as bad as that.
Yeah.
But surely as a club they don't want that playing out within their 4 walls in such an important time of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But as they would know.
They
would know. It's not the first time he's done something stupid. And I'm not really saying you have to cut him from the team, but like he can't have
he's not showing leadership traits.
Yeah, he's not the captain.
But credit to Brisbane, they actually had the most goals per game in the comp.
Yeah, nice.
Which is surprising from them. I just got all the team stats here. That's really all they stood out. Goal percent, they actually had the highest accuracy, 57.79% of the time that they had a scoring shot. It was a goal, not a behind.
Okay, yeah.
So good on Brisbane in that regard.
I think that's probably new information for people that didn't know the percentages, because I wouldn't. I would have said... I don't know what I would have said.
It didn't require a lot of math, but I think it's math that not a lot of people have done.
Well, I think that's what I mean. Like I don't know that I would have guessed 50% or 60% for goals versus behinds.
Well,
anyway.
Just quickly in comparison, so goal percent, every single team had a greater than 50% chance at kicking a goal.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Essendon were the last team at 50.6.
Oh.
Yeah, but I could have, like, before I even did the math, I'm like, Essendon's going to suck at this.
Yeah.
Back to it. Carlton.
Mm-hmm.
We all know how that ended.
Yeah, that was a real shame. And if you don't know how that ended, go back to the previous episode, which is titled "That Time Huddo and Simmo Decided to Commentate the End of the Game." That's what I named it.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
I can't guarantee that it's good listening.
No, I've had a bit of a listen.
Bad.
It's pretty funny. If you've seen the game, it's pretty funny.
Like, we didn't do radio commentary.
No, we didn't.
We didn't talk. We were clearly watching the game.
Yeah,
and
you were also here listening.
Yeah,
Yep.
but you had to have seen the events.
Yes.
But yeah, Carlton, poor Carlton. Carlton's top 5 Supercoach scorers, Simon, before you name them, all averaged over 100.
Yeah, right, okay. Walsh?
Yep, he was 3rd.
Doc?
He was 4th.
Cripps?
He was 2nd. You got 1st and 5th. 1st was in your Supercoach team.
Oh, this is embarrassing. I can't even bloody remember. Hewitt?
Yes.
Okay.
And 5th was not in your Supercoach team, went under the radar, ended up being an All-Australian halfback, formerly of Gold Coast and Essendon.
Oh, no, not sure.
Adam Sard.
Oh, damn it. That's annoying. If I had my time again, I would have guessed that. Yeah, good stuff.
Adam Sard.
Yeah.
Worst, Lockie Fogarty. So the trend is that a lot of these players were subs.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
A few times.
Yeah.
Some weren't, but most were.
Yeah.
Obviously, George Hewitt, the biggest increase in Supercoach average from 73.3 in his Sydney days. He went over to Carlton and averaged 111.4. He was also the highest points per minute for Carlton at 1.2. The biggest price rise, this is a big one. Charlie Curnow, 212k.
Yeah.
Higher than when he started the year. And highest percent of teams that they were in come end of the season. Patrick Cripps, 53.5.
Yeah, fair enough.
Lockie Fogarty was in 91 teams.
Okay, nice.
Which is not the lowest. I'll say that now, amongst the lowest picked. Is that
yes?
those words?
Yep, they are words.
They are, but are they correct in their order?
Maybe.
Probably not. So they will not be playing finals, and they will be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th pick.
I'm gonna say
I don't know the draft trade, so it's just based on the ladder. So if I'm wrong, I'm probably wrong.
something about it's probably more of an NRL thing, but this is a joke, guys. This is a joke. There's no truth to it. With the father-son rule, I find it very interesting in drafts because it's like, it's like, oh, yep, so, yeah, Brisbane, they're doing really well, but they've actually got pick number 1 or 2, depending on father-son. So I would say, let's say 20 years ago, the father-son rule could pop up at any moment.
In the NRL.
Well, they're just like, okay, and pick number 2 goes to, this just in, it actually goes to the Swans. And then all the Swannies guys are sitting there like, oh, God, no,
who's
why?
that kid?
Yeah, whose kid is it? And they're like, yeah, we just got the paternity test. And turns out it is this guy's kid.
Jerry Springer also hosted the NFL draft night.
Anyway, sorry, I just had that.
You are the father.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
What?
Anyway.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah, well.
It'd add a bit of pizzazz to the night.
No, it bloody would. Bit of glitter and glam. What have we got? Who have we got next?
Collingwood.
Oh, yeah?
So they're in finals, as we know, top 4. So before I start with Collingwood, their margin per game. This was a weird stat that I did. So it was kind of like if you win by 20, so it's plus 20. If you lose by 20, it's minus 20. So you're back to 0. Does that make sense? No. It didn't to me. But I did the math anyway.
No, give it to me again, because otherwise there's no point.
So say over 2 games, you win by 20. Yep. And then the next game you lose by 10. So it'd be you start at 0, you go plus 20, and then you go minus 10.
Okay.
Divide that by 2 to get an average. Your average margin is plus 5.
Okay,
So on average, you would win by 5 points.
Okay, yes.
Collingwood's average is that they would win by 3.5 points.
There you go.
Which is not actually the lowest positive. Gold Coast were an average win margin of 2. On average, should win by 2.3.
Well, there you go. I wonder whether they had a draw in that, didn't they?
Gold Coast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would have brought that average down significantly. Well, is that still relevant?
It's more so that Gold Coast were winning by not a lot, but losing by a lot.
Oh, okay.
Or like for example, Port Adelaide. So Collingwood finished 4th.
Yeah.
Port Adelaide didn't make finals, finished 11th, but their average margin was winning by 7.6 because they won big and lost small.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's where this is super weird as a math. It's probably completely incorrect, but I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
So Collingwood, as we know, broke the record for most wins under 10 points in the season.
Yep.
Top 5 averages.
Yep. Crisp.
3rd. Only had 1 over 100, by the way, and the 1 over 100 only played at the start of the year.
And I think there's one at the end. I guess you would have checked that anyway.
No.
Dacos.
4th.
Oh, Josh.
It's going to be tough for you. Pendlebury was 2nd.
Really?
Lipinski was 5th.
Oh, yeah. Someone did tell me that. Yeah.
Dog did. 1st, Brodie Grundy. Everyone forgot he existed.
Yeah, so he did all right when he came back from injury.
Never came back from injury, but averaged 103.5 before the injury. So all these, you had to have played at least 3 games to your price.
Gotcha,
and all that kind of stuff. The worst, Callum L. Brown, 39. The L stands for loser in Supercoach terms.
Sure, he's a great bloke.
Lipinski, the biggest increase in Supercoach average. Taylor Adams, the biggest decrease. Nick Dacos started and ended $310,700 more.
He had a very good season. I traded him out, and I wish I didn't. I should have kept him. I thought he'd hit his ceiling, but he didn't. He just kept going.
Well, he was treated as a cash cow. So typically rookies, when they max out, you're like, let's get rid of him. The thing with Nick Dacos was he maxed out, and then he went, I'm having a couple of bad games. I'm going to go down in price. But now I'm very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Extremely good, in fact.
No.
So good that people were mad that he didn't make All-Australian.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have. He wasn't one of the best halfbacks.
He'll be there soon. He'll be there soon enough.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Your man Jack Crisp, my man Jack Crisp, our man Jack Crisp, lost 146k.
Well, it's not his fault.
Well, I mean, it kind of is. He was the one playing footy.
Yeah, but
he doesn't make the algorithm, but he plays the footy.
He doesn't make the algorithm.
Nick Dacos the highest pick percent at 44.2.
Yeah, that's huge. That's ridiculous.
And that's at the end of round 23. That's not over the course of the year. That is the last game of the season.
Yeah,
he's in 44% of teams.
Yeah,
and there will be a couple that are rookies, and you can quite clearly tell that they're bench cover.
Yeah, and
they're still in teams. But that is he was in your starting lineup. Yeah, which is impressive.
Absolutely.
Next team is Essendon. We'll talk about their season. So we mentioned that they were the worst percentage of... So out of their... When they had a goal or a behind, only 50.61% were goals. They also gave up, the 3rd most scoring shots, only beaten by West Coast and North, who they're barely AFL teams at this rate. They also had the 3rd worst average margin, so on average they lost by 15.9 points.
Yep.
Points per game, they're all right, 13th, that's not the worst thing. But that's really all that you want to talk about.
No, that's all right. What do we got for top 5?
Well, what have we got? You tell me.
Merritt.
First.
Good. Stringer.
No. Stringer actually the biggest dollar decrease in the team.
Oh, 2 metre Peter.
No.
Oh.
He was close, but so you got Merritt, Darcy Parish.
Oh, no. Come on. Ridley.
He was 5th.
Ridley Scott.
Ridley's, believe it or
So
not.
I had two.
Yeah, Redmond, 3rd.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Dylan
guess that.
Shield, 4th.
Wouldn't guess that.
Tex Wanganeen, the worst at 22.
I had him in my team.
Yeah, Gav Son.
Yeah.
Zerk Thatcher, the biggest increase in Supercoach average. Will Snelling, the decrease. Nick Martin ended the season as the highest picked at only 24.7%. But this is going to be a terribly explained thing because I don't know how to explain it in words that make sense. But Michael Hurley.
Yes.
Don't get me started on
Yeah.
But Michael Hurley was the highest of all lowest percentage pick teams for their team. Does that make sense? So Michael Hurley, out of all Essendon players, was in the least amount of teams.
Yes.
At the end of Supercoach, but out of all the teams' lowest picked percentage, he was the highest. So he was in 151 teams, and like the next highest, for example, is Andrew McPherson was in 105 teams. He was an Adelaide player.
Okay.
So read into that what you will. How does Hudson structure sentences? And why do I seem confused all the time?
No, I have to apologise, and we did say before this that Huddo's got a lot of stats. We thought Grazzi would be here, and he would have clued on, would have known the right questions to ask. I'm doing my best.
No, but you're doing great. I mean,
right.
Half this shit, no one cares about.
No, that's all right.
I care. I love stats.
Yeah.
I don't care about.
Yes.
I love Supercoach not for the footy, but for the stats.
Yes.
But then I was looking and I was like, after the footy season's done, you can do Supercoach racing over the summer. It's like, you got to pick 5 horses. I'm like, I'm not sure I could even name 5 horses that still race.
I don't even know
Is
how often they
Secretariat
race.
still there?
Do they race every... do the Melbourne Cup ones race in the Cox Plate?
I don't know.
Don't worry.
Are they resting LeBron James style?
If Tim's listening to this, he'll be throwing his phone out the window, so we'll stop talking about it.
Why does this horse do this, but then that horse doesn't do that? Why is Secretariat good? Because he won a lot? I don't know.
We don't
Sometimes they're girl horses. I don't know. They look like horses.
And lots of them are males.
None of their hairs are done in braids or anything to help me.
No, that's true.
Not that girls have to have braids, but it would be a clear indicator of that being a girl horse.
Well, might have to write a letter to your local MP about that.
I don't understand anything about horse racing.
Yeah.
Except that the jockey gets a lot of glory for doing not a
Well, the horse, the horse does a fair bit.
Because, at the end of the day, if the jockey was running against all the horses, he'd lose by a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's not... I mean, it's the same as, driving a car.
Move on. Yeah, that's it.
Freo next.
Yeah, good. Okay.
You like Freo. I like Freo.
So Freo in the finals.
Yes.
I'm very happy about it.
Where'd they finish, Simon?
4th?
Nah, Collingwood already did that.
Oh, you just told me. Oh, there you go.
But so they'll play the Western Bulldogs over in Perth in an elimination final.
Yeah, which is tough. It's tough.
Because dogs are actually when they're good, but when they're bad, they're not very good.
Yeah, so we'll see how they go.
Top 5 Freo Supercoach average. Sign.
Brayshaw.
1.
Brody.
2. 3 you had in your team.
Darcy.
Yes. 4 and 5 you won't have, and if you get them,
you reckon?
Yeah. I'll give you 1. If you get 1 wrong, you're out.
Yeah. Nah.
Luke Ryan.
Yep.
And Hayden Young.
No.
We mentioned Hayden Young quite a lot because he could be good for next year.
Yes.
He seems to
I've heard of him, but I
breakout. Liam Henry, the worst, 40.8, which is actually pretty for the worst in the team. Is not bad.
Yeah, so bad.
The thing with Freo, they actually had the highest Supercoach average from all their players. So on average, their players averaged 71.44, which is surprising.
Well, I mean,
I thought it would have been the Dogs. You look at the Dogs when we get to them. It's crazy from them.
Yeah, I think it's an indication on how their season went for sure, and playing as a team. Because, like you would say that Brayshaw is clear number one, and they were talking about him for Brownlow and whatever. But then after that, it's sort of like you got Brody, it falls off a little bit, like pretty much because the young and old mate, they're two younger.
Ryan.
Yeah, they're two younger fellas, are they? Or?
Ryan's older, but he was an overage recruit out of Coburg, so he seems young in his AFL career.
Yeah. Well, I would say so.
I think he's like Tom Stewart kind of.
Freo are getting the job done with less stars. Is pretty much what I'm saying. So that would make sense with the higher.
Well,
average.
Speaking of their stars, Nat Fyfe average 100.4 in 2021. In 2022, he averaged 63.
Yeah, well, he was injured and he had that another bad haircut.
But best points per minute, you would have said Will Brodie because he never plays, but he still averaged 102. But Andrew Brayshaw actually averaged the same points per minute.
I would have said Brayshaw, but not knowing that other fact.
Because I didn't know how much Brodie played.
Yes, no, I didn't.
But Will Brodie actually ended the season in 54.4% attempts.
Yeah.
Mitch Croden, do you know Mitch Croden?
No, I don't.
No offence to him, but very rough lid. 69.
Has he got another shocking haircut?
It's not so much the actual lid, it's the overall top half. It's just his head's bigger than what his body would suggest it should be.
No, he's fine.
He's only 175 centimetres.
Yeah, so I'm 176, I reckon.
Yeah, yours are.
No, I reckon I'm 172, sorry.
There he is, Big Church.
They call him the Big Church.
They call him the Big Church.
Yeah.
They're in finals. Should we implement our guesses now or do that at the end?
Oh, I think we do it at the end.
Okay, no worries. Then stay tuned.
Yes.
Big reveal at the end. Geelong's next, Simon.
Well, should we do the matchup? Should we, rather than doing them all at the end, who's like the lowest matchup? Does that make sense? Like, who's like the game that they're both on the cusp? Or that doesn't really happen because does first play 8th or how's it work?
No, first plays 4th.
Yeah, so who does last play?
8th.
Yeah.
They play 5th. So Freo will play Western Bulldogs.
So I think maybe we do that and then work our way up in stages.
Okay. So just every now and again you want to intermittent.
I reckon.
Like, this is a game. Righto. Well then, Freo's playing Western Bulldogs.
Yeah. So
in Perth.
In Perth.
Yeah. Should we weather forecast? Because no one knows the bloody...
I reckon Freo are going to get up. I reckon that'll be huge.
Yeah. I hope they do. I'd love to see
because I think
win.
with Bulldogs, before we talk about them, I think poor old McRae's fallen off a little bit, not only in points, but...
Well, he seems to be playing a different position, and he's also having season low time on ground percentages.
Yeah, which is interesting. But, yeah, I think Freo, particularly over in... Because I don't know what happens. I know that there's pretty fierce rivalry between the West Coast teams... But I wonder whether there'll be a few people that jump on the bandwagon.
I don't think that.
You don't reckon?
Nah.
I would.
Because but the thing is that West Coast have had such... It'd probably be different if they both were going through a lull.
Yeah.
Like West Coast have been awful this year, but 2018 or 2019, I can't remember. They won the premiership. West Coast did. So I think they've had recent history that would suggest they're like, fuck Freo.
Yeah, fair enough.
Whereas like if they were both in the situation where they hadn't made finals since 2000, then it's like, we want to have something back in Perth.
No, I still think Freo, and I'll be very interested to see what local celebrities turn up wearing a Dockers jersey that you've never known were into the Dockers.
But so they played once this year in Melbourne, and Freo won by 17 points.
Yeah. No, go Freo. That's mine. Who do you think?
I think Freo will win only because they're the better team, but I reserve my judgment because they have too many fly-in, fly-out players that play a week and miss 2 because of their injuries. So I'm waiting to see what their team name is. But if you gave me Freo's best 22 and Dogs' best 22, I'm taking Freo. They just play so well as a team.
Yep.
They're one of the teams, and Collingwood's the same, where they've overshot their prediction because they play well together. They know their roles.
Yep.
And this is the same as an NBA thing. You're
Yep.
like, that guy is not a scorer, but he defends, so he does that. And then when they start trying to score, you're like, don't do this. You're not capable.
Yep. No, fair enough.
So, yeah. That's our 5th V8 matchup, which would be Fremantle beating Western Bulldogs, progressing them to play the loser of Geelong Collingwood. So we'll talk about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Geelong, they're
Yep.
the next game.
Cool.
No, next team, in fact. Top 5 Supercoach averages for Geelong. Do we have things,
That's
don't
my
we?
favourite, that one.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Geelong!
Yeah, to be honest, that's hilarious.
Fuck you, dogs!
No, I do like I like Geelong. I do say it during the week. Tom Stewart.
Number 1, yeah. Only bloke to average over 100 at Geelong,
There you go.
surprisingly.
Guthrie.
2nd.
Hawk.
4th. We've talked about...
Cameron.
He's 5th. We've talked about number 3. Come on, you've got to get 5 out of 5. We've talked about him a lot on the pod. We've given him a nickname because it was misspelt somewhere. A surprising player. Ruck defender in Supercoach. Former Olympic possibility in the marathon, I believe.
No.
Long distance running at least.
No.
Mark Blitzarves or Blitzbass.
Quick maths.
See, so 4 out of 5.
That's not bad.
That's your new highest.
Yeah.
So we'll see where you can go. With
No, it's good.
Francis Evans, the lowest at 31. You definitely didn't know who he is.
No.
Patrick Dangerfield, the biggest decrease in Supercoach average. He ended up losing 163k in value.
Yeah.
Sam de Koning, the biggest dollar increase, 213.6%.
Yeah, that was huge.
And
he was one that sort of kept going too.
He just played.
Yeah.
And he just did his job, and he did
Yep.
his job extremely well.
Yep.
And this was my argument for him to be considered higher in Rising Star. Like, I think it was justified in the voting. Dacos got 5 from everyone. Decoding 4 from everyone.
Yeah.
Jai Newcomb 3 from everyone, bar 1, I believe. I think someone gave Ginnivan 3, which is totally fair. Ginnivan was, one of the best forwards in the top 14.
Yeah.
But Sam de Koning he ended the season in 27.8% of teams. But I think I did a list halfway through the year, and he kept good goal kickers to low goal numbers in their matchup.
Yeah.
There were stories written about how Aaron Norton had a bad game, Max King had a bad game. All these guys played shit when they played.
King has a few bad games.
But they seemed to all play bad when they were matched up with Sam de Koning.
Yep. Yeah.
I just think for a fullback in his first year, he was incredible. And the commentary mentioned a lot, but just outstandingly good.
No, I noticed because I had him in my team for a while and I did trade him out. But you keep following along and you're like, okay, I know that guy now. And he was one of those ones that sort of kept going through he hit the ceiling, but he kept going. Not so much in value, but it was consistency. He didn't fall off.
But the thing with Sam de Koning is he doesn't play a Supercoach friendly position.
Yeah.
He did score a ton,
Yeah.
but as in he didn't score a ton of points. He scored a ton once. But in terms of actual football, very good.
Yeah.
And then Sean Higgins, 94 teams. He was the lowest percent.
There you go.
Next one. Gold Coast. Didn't make finals, unfortunately. Looked like they could all year. It's somewhere there.
The Gold Coast.
I didn't see it.
All good. Oh, yeah. I can't see much either.
That's all right.
Between us, we have good eyesight if we combine eyesight.
Yes, correct.
So
The Gold Coast.
are about to lose Isaac Rankin, which doesn't bode well because they put so much time and effort into him. When he's on, he's on.
But would you say it is the nature of those sorts of places? It's you love it for a while, then you're like, I'm sick of this joint.
I just find it so weird in terms of I want to go home. So we've got this thing in the NBA at the moment, which is the other sport where there's trades. No other sport really has. Obviously other American sports.
NFL?
Yeah, they do, but they're less. Your big players tend not to get traded. Russell Wilson got traded in the off season, but a lot of people don't.
Okay.
It's only when they're coming to the end of their careers that they would. You'd never trade.
They wait.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. So I don't. But so they would wait for the contract to end and then re-sign somewhere different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So free agency becomes a lot more in play. But I just in the NBA, even when people demand trades, it's because they're ring chasing.
Yeah.
Typically, Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
LeBron's never actually demanded a trade, which is no one talks about that.
No, he hasn't. But I'll tell you what. All I know is we've mentioned Kevin Durant, so we'll get tweeted at. He will be
has
listening.
Like
he will listen
He
to
must
this.
be on. He must employ like 10,000 people to just be like, cover all bases, please. If I'm mentioned, go at him.
I'd love to have a chat to him.
I think he's interesting because I'd love to know the mindset of being like publicly hated but still playing into it. You know what I mean? Like everyone hates you for going to the Warriors after they won a title, yet you're doing it again.
Yeah, I find it interesting, the psychology that so online I could say something bad about him and he would respond and be like, "Whoa." But if I walked past him in the street, he wouldn't look at me.
No,
because he's not interested. Because I don't matter in his world, which he should, Anyway,
employ that in social media.
Yeah, you know. What
but
I'm saying.
it's just weird. Like in AFL, there's so much like I want to go home.
Yep.
It's like America's a much larger place, so they're more disconnected.
Yeah.
Like Gold Coast to Adelaide's an easier flight than like a New York to LA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Isaac Rankin wanting to go home to play his footy in Adelaide, it's such a weird concept for me coming from American sport.
Yeah. Well, I've thought about this a little bit. So American sports, more money.
Yes.
American sports, more flights.
Yeah.
American sports, more money. So I think in NBA, it's like, I want to go home. So, well, go. You can fly there right now in your private jet. You can go there anytime you want. But yeah, I guess being local and that sort of thing does make sense. But in Australia, I think it makes more sense because shit's far away from other shit.
Well,
Brisbane's ages away from bloody.
But it's not.
Gold
That's
Coast
what
is
I'm
ages.
saying.
But no, as far as like
But like a flight like from Brisbane to Adelaide for Rankin is shorter of a flight than it would be from, well, even DeRozan, like a flight from Chicago to LA.
Yeah,
So
I suppose.
I know that they've got private planes, but at the end of the day, they're still going to get on the plane.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that wasn't your point.
No.
I've debated a point that you weren't making, so.
Fuck you, Hudson, for no reason.
No, that's
No.
it. So you don't understand I'm going home. That's all right.
No, I understand because I get homesick when I travel overseas. But if someone offered me $500,000 a year to stay in the Gold Coast for 12 months, I probably would.
Yeah.
But Gold Coast top 5 SuperCoach averages.
Took.
Yep, Rankin's not in there. Just
Raoul.
5th.
It's going to be tough. Wits.
Yes, I don't think you'll get 3 and 4 because 3 kicked an after the siren goal to beat Richmond in the Gold Coast.
Nah.
Noah Anderson.
Oh, yeah?
Do you know Noah Anderson?
Yeah, I know an Anderson.
And then 4th, former Richmond player, Brandon Ellis.
No.
Worst Supercoach average, Hawago Paul Awea.
Hawago.
36.5.
Coolest name. Hawago. Let's see.
So the highest dollar increase, Elijah Hollins, Border Boy. Thought I'd get a mention in there. Cool. The biggest decrease, this is huge. Braden Fiorini ended the season $259,000 cheaper than when he started, which is the most that we've mentioned so far by quite a distance. Jared Witts in 50.1% of teams, he's the highest. I thought Miller might have been up there.
Yeah, right.
The lowest, Josh Corbett. He's only in 44 teams. Gold Coast had 5 players in under 100 teams coming in for the year. Corbett, Jack Bowes, Sam Flanders, Darcy McPherson, and Sam Day.
Nice.
Moving on.
Yeah, how many teams have we done?
That would be almost half.
Okay, well, we'll go...
I think we need to do this would be like a 2-parter.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll do half and then we'll go again.
Yeah.
Well, not again.
Well, we need to...
continue.
And then we'll do... I reckon we do
And
first and fourth
Yeah.
prediction in this one too.
Yep.
On the fly planning. Gotta love it.
So who we got?
So Greater Western Sydney, the last of the first 9, top 5 for GWS.
Oh,
It'll pain you to say number 2.
yeah, Whitfield.
Nah, he's not in the top 5.
Isn't he?
No.
Okay. So you know who I'm talking about? Tom Green.
Yes, 3rd.
Okay, so that was the right one. I normally say something else.
Toby's the other one. He's
Yeah.
not in there.
Yes, that's who I get mixed up.
Second.
Oh, Cogs.
Yeah, Cogs.
Cogs.
First, the one reason I'm disappointed Zach's not here is because he raves on about him. It's his favourite Supercoach pod for the year, Josh Kelly.
Yep.
4th and 5th, I don't expect you to know. I don't expect many to have guessed it. But Isaac Cumming and
Oh, yeah.
Harry Perryman.
Oh, yeah, I'd heard both of their names
Yep.
fairly often.
The
Very good.
lowest, Xavier O'Halloran, 36.7. Obviously, Cornelio, the biggest increase after last year's woeful display.
Well, another one that just kept going.
Yeah. Most points per minute, Braden Pruce.
Oh, yeah.
Remember him? Lowest points per minute with 0.2 per minute, Ryan Anglin.
Ryan Anglin. Oh,
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Cornelio ended in the highest percentage of teams at 58.4. Brett Daniels was named in only 30 teams, which is the lowest of all the lowest.
right. But
The
there'll be
lowest of all the lows.
There'll be someone that wouldn't be named in any team, surely.
No. 30 teams is the
Really?
lowest picked.
That's crazy.
And that... So it's a combination of things. So it's 1, he didn't play all year. 2, he's still expensive, so he's like 400k or something from last year. And then he just didn't play because I think he did something to his Achilles or his...
Must have been his mates that had him in there.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, so a lot of these guys would be still in teams that pick a team at the start of the year and then fall off the face of the earth, delete the app. Wouldn't blame them. So that's the end. So that's the first 9
Yep.
out of 18. So that's halfway, I think. First v fourth in the finals, Geelong Collingwood.
Well,
So as we know,
that's going to be awesome.
we'll breathe in the second half. We're going to do it a bit quicker because we want to talk about final structure
Yeah,
from
fair
two people that don't get it.
Fair enough. I'll try and speed it up a bit, shall I?
Yeah, you're the one slowing us down.
That's it.
No.
So,
Geelong
Geelong versus
Collingwood.
Collingwood. Now, I know someone who's going to this game.
It's not in Geelong. It's at the G, obviously, because Geelong don't get home finals because the AFL are money-making succubus.
It only holds 41,000 or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, they fucking made finals and finished first.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
It shouldn't be it. I don't know if this is controversial.
The controversy.
I don't know if it's that or not, but if you finish first, you should get a home final no matter the...
Yeah, where you're at.
At the
That'd
end
be
of the
a good
day,
change.
they've got to play the fucking G if they
Yeah.
make the grand final, which is an advantage for Collingwood, Richmond, Melbourne.
Yeah, well, I know someone who's going to this game.
Do you?
Stavros, shout out, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Legend. And I reckon...
Might be a tough day for him.
Yeah, I hope he's not listening because he's going to kill me from what I say next. I predict
Geelong
will win. And also, I think Geelong are going to win the whole thing, which is a rare thing to occur. It's a lower percentage than you would think from the number 1 position.
Yeah, so I'm picking Geelong as well. I just think they're just a very, very, very good team. I know it's but it's who plays on the day kind of thing. And whilst I agree that that's true, I think Geelong's worst is still very good. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So Geelong have played Collingwood. They played in April, round 3. Geelong beat them by 13 points. And then... Have they played them again? Wow, they only played one. No, only played once this year.
Yeah, well, there you go. It'll be a good final.
Yep, at the G. Everyone's mad about the time slot because it's at 4:35 on a sad day. It interrupts local footy. But I think 4:35 is good because I'll be awake. I won't be awake for the Saturday night game because it plays too late.
Also, I reckon... So, do you want me to tell you why I think Geelong are going to win everything?
Yeah.
So...
Geelong
So one thing about Geelong, right? So, Danger didn't do so well this season.
Correct.
Right? Come finals time, doesn't matter. He will play very well if he has to. So if their team isn't playing well, he'll come out of the woodwork and he'll do something fucking crazy and they'll play really well. And they have a number of those players. They are a bit of a... I actually don't know this, but they, as far as... Well, let's say, I was going to say they do have a bit of an older list, but...
Always have.
Yeah, always have. But I would say as far as people in those leadership roles, you've got Hawke, you've got Cameron, Selwood,
Danger,
Guthrie.
Guthrie.
You only need, you don't need all those guys to have a good game. But I just think that there's more of those people that'll pop up and have good games when they have to.
I think the thing, like you mentioned, Danger, is they've finished 18-4 with a danger that hasn't been very good.
Yeah.
Imagine if he's good.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
they lost 4 games with an arguably over the last decade best 5 player in the comp
Yep.
being shit.
Yep.
Like if he's anything more than shit, like even if he's average, all of a sudden, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he will be. I just
like,
reckon he will be. He'll be good.
Hawkins rarely plays badly.
I love the Hawk.
Cameron apparently is back this week. He's going to play. Guthrie we don't know about yet, but Stewart's playing. Like all these guys are playing, and whilst Collingwood season has been incredible, like they've proved every doubter wrong, they also haven't. Like they've lost to Sydney, they've lost to your Geelongs, they've beaten Melbourne twice, but I really don't love Melbourne.
Yeah.
The difference between their good and their bad is just too great
Yeah.
for me. But I'm going to eat my words because I've talked them up like this, but God, they do good.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think on the opposite side of things, Collingwood put some really good team performances together, but those people to stand up in finals, I think, are slimmer. So I'm just basically, that's my logic.
Yeah. And I think as well, like
that.
watching Collingwood, you can't really name a guy that's played poorly. So at some point, someone has to have a bad game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they can't, well, they can, but statistically, they can't go a whole year without having a bad game.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
And at some point, they can't win every game by less than 10 points. There's got to be one that they lose.
Well, I mean, they only have to win by 1 though. So
No, 100%. But like the law of averages, which suggests that you can't just constantly win by that close a margin.
Yeah.
You have to at some point get some bad luck.
Well, we'll see what happens. We might just finish it up there.
Get a big dog up your Collingwood.
And we'll come back.
Hopefully people listen to the next part.
Yeah, hopefully
people listen to this part.
All the parts before.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it
There's
up.
been a few parts.
Yeah, there's parts. Border Barrels Part 2. We're back into it.
Go the mighty magpies.
Yeah, we're just talking about the matchup between Geelong and Collingwood, and we might have pissed off. I might have pissed off old Stavros. He might be ready to headbutt me, which is fair enough.
Thanks, Basil.
Thanks, Basil.
Right.
Cool. We'll get back into it. So next team we're covering.
Yep.
What do we got?
Zach, shout out to you, Hawks.
Hawks, yeah, the Hawks.
The Hawks.
Righto, Sicily.
Yep, number 1. He was the only one to average more than 100.
Okay, there you go. What's his name? The older bloke who could find the footy in a bloody bushfire.
Yep, former Brownlow medalist.
Tom Mitchell?
Yep.
Tom Mitchell.
He was number 2.
Yeah, good stuff.
Number 3 was Zach's best friend in his mind.
Jai Newcomb.
No, he was 5th.
Okay.
Actually, but yeah, no, Zach's... So Jai would be his second best friend.
Okay, yeah.
Don't tell him that.
Okay, yes.
That his first best friend would be a forward who is in SuperCoach circles underrated. Went into the midfield to end the season.
Mm-hmm.
Shares a surname with a certain key back at Collingwood.
No.
First name starts with D, last name starts with M.
Just tell me his name.
Dylan Moore.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
And number 4 was a man who retired this year.
Yeah, the
old-
ruck guy.
Yeah, head strap
Yeah.
extravaganza.
Yep.
Ben McAvoy.
Yes.
So we'll give you 4.
Yep.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
So Hawthorn and Geelong are your top 2 so far, 4
There
out of
you go.
5.
Yeah.
Big rivalry there between the two of them.
Yeah,
The lowest score SuperCoach average was Kyle Hardigan with 22.7. So Jai Newcomb, obviously the biggest increase in average, 53.3 to 86.9.
Yep.
He also had the biggest dollar increase. James Sicily ended the year in 52.2% of teams.
Yep.
The next highest was Connor McDonald at 15%.
Oh, there you go.
Actually, both were in Zach's team.
Okay, there you go. I had McDonald for a while, but I didn't stay on him.
I had McDonald's a lot.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, I actually went to the McDonald's drive-thru for the first time today in a long while. It took me 25 minutes to get some banana bread.
That's sickening. Banana?
I thought I'll just zip in here. No one zips in. I forgot.
Yeah,
no
you
one
can't
just zips
zip
in there.
places.
You can't zip
There's
in
no
there.
more zipping.
There is no more zipping.
There is only waiting.
Yeah, and I waited 25 minutes anyway, and they didn't even.
Well,
heat it
they
up.
make it from scratch.
One would think, but they didn't.
Daniel Howe in the lowest amount of teams with 106.
Oh, you righto.
So Hawthorn obviously not making finals, ended up finishing 13th.
Yep.
So they will end up with what is projected to be the 6th pick, which will end up the 7th pick based on Ashcroft getting matched.
And depending if there are any other father-sons that happen on the night.
Yeah, well, we
Is there
don't
any
know
re-
yet.
Is there any reason why this draft pick should not be made? I have a reason. Anyway, keep going.
I object.
I object.
So yeah, first season under Sam Mitchell. I think Hawthorn fans would consider it a success.
Yep. It's good to see something different.
What do you mean with no Clarko?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But it's funny, like, I think it's so funny, like, a Hawthorn fan, if I said to you, so, like, Essendon, you would consider that you're a failure, yeah? They finished one win behind Hawthorn and had a lower games average for every game this year, and they also had a lower average age list.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, expectations are super weird in footy, like, with that kind of thing. Like, undoubtedly, Essendon failed because they finished 8th last year. Undoubtedly, GWS and North and West Coast all failed.
Yeah.
And then you talk to Hawthorn fans and like, success. And
well,
because you have 4 more points.
Yeah, because it's new coach and whatever else.
Yeah.
And as well, it's
but
funny.
Adelaide had the same amount of wins, and we're all kind of like, where are they at as a team?
And and it's funny as well with Clarko. Like he sort of fell off a little bit. But like you watch it with North, they'll be like in the top 4, I reckon, instantly.
Like, no, this is. I argued with you
I
about this.
Might have tuned out, but I think I reckon.
Like, are you telling me Clarko can turn whatever that was, a 2-win team, and just disgusting bad?
No, like I'm talking.
Like,
I'm talking early on. I don't think they'll finish top 4.
No, I don't think they'll ever. He's got 5 years. I don't think it'll happen in 5 years.
No, but like say it's the first 2 rounds.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, like they win round 1.
They'll start really well, and then they won't end up up there.
Oh well, I mean, because at the start of the year you do it on. It's all based on like alphabetical order. They'll actually end up like 13th, I reckon.
Oh, okay, there you go. At the start of the season, yeah, very good.
Well, actually 12th, so that's big for them.
Well, okay.
Melbourne is next.
Yeah,
so
up to do.
We mentioned Melbourne in part 1 in their matchup with. We didn't mention the matchup with Sydney, but we do want to talk about that now.
No.
All right.
No, we can't.
No. Fuck me.
No,
stuff me. We'll go straight into their top 5 SuperCoach averages then.
Oliver.
Yes.
Petrarca.
Third. Sorry.
Yep. Who do I have? Do I have anyone else?
Tall man.
Gone.
Yeah, second. Played halfback, went into the midfield, has 2 brothers. Nope, he's not in there. Has 2 brothers, one of whom is a Brownlow favourite at a certain Perth team.
Oh, Brayshaw.
Yes, Angus Brayshaw is 4th. And 5th, his father was recently hired by the North Melbourne Footy Club, and apparently, unbeknownst to me, is a friend of my mother's.
Oh, don't know.
Jack Viney.
Nice.
His dad, Todd.
Yep.
So, the story, quick story behind this was I was at Mum and Dad's for dinner, as we used to do every Monday, and Jack was being interviewed on TV. Jack Viney was, and Mum said, "Oh, how's Jack going?" Like, they were good mates. And I was like, "What? Jack Viney?" And she's like, "Yes, I'm good friends with Todd."
There you go.
I was like, "What do you mean good friends with Todd?" And she's like, "Oh, through tennis we knew each other."
Okay.
And like, my grandfather and Mum's dad's like, "Oh yeah, they all knew each other through."
Funny
that.
those connections.
And it was like, but like, just how's Jack going?
Yeah, like oh jeez.
But like I knew.
Yeah,
I had spoken to him recently, just because we're both sons of people that they.
It's like you told the story, you'd introduced us, and we're mates now.
Yeah.
Viney is one of those ones that kept. Not surprised because he ticks along and he keeps popping up in the top 3 But then every now and then he'll have a stinker. Is that sort of where he's at?
He wasn't too bad this year. He kind of had a couple of down games. But, yeah, I think guys like that, like we've mentioned in the pod, tacklers tend to usually go all right. And he's one of those, like, inside mid tacklers, contested possessions, all that kind of stuff. Now, this one's really, really good. So 3 sub appearances, but the lowest Supercoach average in the entire comp after having played a minimum of 3 games. Cade Chandler,
Okay.
6.3.
It's not very good.
It's very low.
Yeah, it's not very good.
So, a couple other things to talk about, nothing impressive. Clayton Oliver ended in 48.1% of teams. Luke Dunstan, 77 teams.
Okay.
Had 42 touches in the VFL, though, this weekend.
There you go.
Good on him. Next team, North Melbourne Bowling Club.
Oh, yes. North.
Now,
I couldn't even tell you.
you could tell me the top 5 because I reckon you could name 3 of them because one of them was in your Supercoach team that ended up getting dropped for round 23.
Oh, the bloke with the hamstrings.
Yeah.
I can't even remember his name.
Aaron Hall.
Yeah, Aaron Hall. The guy with the 3 names.
Yeah, Luke Davies-Uniacke.
No. That doesn't count.
LDU.
That's not who I thought it was. Who's the other guy?
That's the only one.
Isn't there another guy?
No.
What's the guy who went out in Adelaide and everyone hates him?
Went out in Adelaide.
Yeah, I went home to Adelaide and then went out.
Oh, Jason
boys.
Horn-Francis.
Yeah,
that's 3 names.
That's
yeah,
3
okay,
names.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, he's not in there.
Okay.
Wow. Good on you.
Zerha?
No. Goldstein.
No.
Simpkin.
No.
Luke McDonald.
Okay. No.
Lowest Phoenix Spicer at 24.6. But shout out to Miller Bergman.
Miller Bergman.
So if we didn't implement the 3-game rule, he played 1 game and he scored -1.
Ooh.
-1 for Miller Bergman. So his points per minute were -0.1.
Oh.
Obviously, that's rounded up. But Aaron Hall actually had the highest points per minute. Shame his hamstrings actually also had the highest tear rate in the comp.
Yes, at 78.2.
78.2% chance of hamstring awareness. He's very aware of his hamstrings.
That's my favourite line from the whole. Look, it's so funny when those things come out. It's like, what? And then everyone just starts using it as if it's always been a thing.
Hamstring awareness.
For God's
Well, if he wasn't aware, what the hell?
Well, I
Everyone
mean,
knows where the hamstrings are.
I mean, to be fair, I get it because it's
not
not
a
like
weird muscle group.
it's not an injury, but it's like, oh, it's a bit sore, I guess.
I'm aware.
But I don't know what was wrong with hamstring soreness. It's like, okay, well, fair
The
enough.
soreness was fine. I
Yeah.
feel like awareness is a longer word.
Yeah, that's true.
Quick maths. Jack Zeeble actually dropped from 107.6 average to 64.7. There's a lot. He lost a 301k.
Well, everyone had him in their team last year as well. So
But your man, Jason Horn-Francis, actually was the highest percent of teams, 15.6.
okay, yeah, fair enough.
Their highest average Supercoach score, Luke Davies-Uniacke, was actually the 15th most owned North Melbourne player.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah.
So there were 14 North Melbourne players owned in more teams than LDU.
Yeah, oh, well, there you go.
Very weird. Eddie Ford, 107 teams, grandson of Mr. Ford,
Gerald
the creator
Ford.
of Ford. No, was Gerald Ford the creator of Ford?
No, Gerald
He was
Ford
the
was
former
a
president.
former president. Yeah.
Who was the creator of Ford? Eddie Ford.
Tom Ford.
Tom Ford.
No, Tom Ford was he's a suits guy.
Ford creator. Henry.
Henry. Big H. Sorry, Big H.
Big H Ford. Sorry, I know you're listening.
What else you
Henry, Henry Ford. Yeah, he died in 1947.
Hello. What else you got?
Port Adelaide.
Oh, yeah.
So we mentioned them quickly, but top 5. This one's an odd one because they're like players that it's like, oh, that makes sense, but also why?
Butters.
He was 4th.
Ollie Wines.
First, big wines. The whiner, they call it.
Give him the wine up. That's probably...
Well, also a wine name was 5th. Not wine itself, but a varietal.
David Tempranillo.
Yeah, he was actually 2nd.
Oh, yeah.
No, Connor Rose.
Yes.
5th. And Travis Boak,
Oh, yeah.
2nd.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Dan Houston, 3rd.
Yeah.
Worst Martin Frederick. My pronunciation of Frederick.
Martin Frederick.
Not much happening there. Their highest own was actually Bryn Teagle.
Yeah.
Mid-season sub because everyone brought him in at 102k to be a ruck forward.
Because there was a lot of
swinger.
Body awareness around the rucks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we did bring
well,
him in.
actually,
Cheap, yeah.
So while we're talking about the rucks, I did write down the top 5 Supercoach averages in rucks. So Gawn, Witts, English, Grundy, and Sean Darcy.
Yep.
If you limit it to highest average by players that played every single game,
That's
22
right.
games, Jared Witts, Toby Nankervis, Todd Goldstein, Peter Wright, Sam Draper.
Yeah. Interesting.
And those last two, Peter Wright and Sam Draper, ended with averages of 78.3 and 72.4.
Right.
So it really goes to show you just what dire straits the ruck core were in Supercoach wise last year.
Yeah.
Well, last year,
Shocking.
this season. Where are we going? Back to it. Get back to it, you dickheads. Richmond. So they're playing finals. They're the last.
Yep.
No, we didn't talk about Melbourne, did we? Because you got real mad at me.
No, I didn't get it. We can.
Richmond, before we get into them, they play Brisbane. In Brisbane. Now, we've talked about Brisbane. Don't know about Brisbane.
I reckon Brisbane can knock them out.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Because
the Brisbane in Brisbane and Richmond are the fading. They're fading.
Well, in terms of list age, it's like, where are they going with this?
Yeah.
But the thing with Richmond, so I did like a mental, what would my power rankings be like just on their day? And I had a top 4 of on their day in this top 8, Geelong, Melbourne, Sydney and Richmond.
Yeah, so are you saying with Richmond, I'm sort of going against my logic?
Well, yeah.
With Geelong, they've got more players that they've played in the finals before they know what it's about.
Yeah, they know what they're in for. But I think the thing with Richmond is just like, at the end of the day, and I hate to admit it, but Tom Lynch can kick 5 for fun.
Yeah.
And then, they've got enough around the grounds where they can kind of contribute. So, for example, your Richmond.
Was Dusty still playing or what?
Well, he might come back, apparently.
Yeah, okay.
Richmond were the second highest in the comp for goals per game. They led the comp for points per game. The problem is their scoring shots allowed weren't great, but their scoring shots gained, what they had, was second in the comp.
Yeah.
So I think they can hit the scoreboard. If they can lock down a team like Brisbane, who have just a very hit and miss. In saying that, though, they do have the highest goals per game in the comp and also the most accurate kick for goals in the comp.
Well, I mean, that helps when you've got, what's his buddy? Jack?
Who?
Captain Jack?
Who? Richmond.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about another team.
Oh, Rewalt.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Brisbane. But the Rewalt, Lynch, Cumberland's come on.
Yeah.
And then they have some guys that can kind of contribute. I guess Brisbane have the same thing. They've got the big 3 of Hipwood, Danaher, McStay, and then you've got Charlie Cameron.
Yeah.
They do have Rayner's back, I think. Oh, no, he'll miss.
I think Brisbane fans hate Brisbane at the moment, but I think on a night game in Brisbane, it's going to be slippery as all hell, and Richmond is an aging list. If Dusty was there all season and they had the same stability, I would say Richmond.
Yeah, see, I worry about Dusty coming in after all these games off. It's like, does he have it?
Yeah.
And
I think he'll always have it, but
this is like a game that I probably won't watch because I don't really like either team, to be honest with you. I don't want to pick a winner because I want to see them both lose. Can we just call up and be like, don't worry about this one, just put bloody Carlton back in and they can replace the 2 of them?
Yeah, let us know.
I meant we call the AFL.
Yeah, and then they can let us know.
Okay. So, top 5 Supercoach scorers for Richmond. I want to preface it by saying 0 people scored averaged over a ton.
Yep. Short.
Second.
Mark of the Year guy.
Shea Bolton. No. Not there.
Jack.
No. Tom Lynch, 4th.
Oof, I might have to tap out.
First, Nick Vlostone.
Okay, yeah. very good.
Third, Toby Nankervis.
No, I wouldn't
and
guess
fifth, Dion Prestia.
Yeah, there you go.
Worst, Jake Arts at 28.7. But the biggest increase, this is a big one because he could be an option come next year. Dan Rioli signed a big contract extension. He increased from 61.7 Supercoach to 92.1 this year playing off halfback. Changed his whole career, I think.
Yep.
But Jane Short did end the season in the most teams, 40.1%. Riley Collier-Dawkins, bit of a throwback to a cash cow of yesteryear. He ended in 132 teams.
Yep, no, very good.
St Kilda. There's more teams. It's all right. 4 left.
No, it's just St Kilda.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought you were laughing at that I named more teams, but you were like, St Kilda?
Yep, so
Why are
Steele.
we worried about them?
Steele.
Steele second.
Yep.
To a man you didn't have in your team, but you wish you did, but we
Yes,
had.
which I can't remember his name. But
Also Jack.
because I was going to get Laird and Jack Sinclair.
Yes, he was first. Jack
Busty
Steele
Sinclair.
second. Third was a man that I've been pushing for you to get all year.
Crouch.
Yeah, Brad Crouch.
Yep.
Fourth, this one no one will guess, so we'll go straight to fifth, is a man that we both brought in late in the year, hoping he...
Owens.
No.
No, well, that wouldn't be right. That was stupid thing to say.
Retract
Yeah.
that. Both brought him in, ruck forward.
Oh,
Number 19.
yeah, what's his bloody name? Marshall.
Yes, Rowan Marshall,
Yeah.
fifth. Fourth, no one would guess because he slipped under the radar. Seb Ross,
Oh, yeah, no.
97.4.
Yeah, good on him.
Lowest, actually pretty decent score. Cooper Sharman averaged 47.7.
Sharman.
Yeah, that's a good name.
The Shaman. The Shaman.
Um,
I'll lead you to places you've never been.
best points per minute, Dan Hanbury, 1.1.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
He retired as well.
Yeah.
The Sydney great.
Yeah.
So biggest price increase, Marcus Windhager,
Yes.
156.9k. Shout out to second in price increase because it's a big throwback to the start of the year, and we all thought this man would be a revelation for Supercoach and also St Kilda. Jack Hayes.
Yeah, well, none of us really had him, did we?
Towards the end, no. Did you have him at the start? You would have. I did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Jack Hayes missed out by $500 dues.
Jeez. Jeez.
On the biggest increase, but he could be someone for next year.
Yep.
Actually, Zach Jones lost almost 200k. He will not be someone for next year. I think I had him probably 5 years ago
Oh, there you
when he was playing for Sydney. Obviously, Jack Sinclair actually finished in the most percent of teams. Dean Kent, only 40 teams.
Okay. Not far off the
Also
lowest.
retired. His second game of the year was a sub-on in the round 23 loss to Sydney. Speaking of, Sydney. Now, better get this done because we've already talked about Melbourne. Second versus third. Loser moves on to play. I can't work out all these crosses. The loser will play the winner of Brisbane and Richmond. So,
Yeah, I reckon Melbourne's getting up.
yeah, it's in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Obviously, they finished second. That's the thing. When I say Geelong is my number one power ranking, it's because they're so good. But Melbourne is... If you guaranteed me that Melbourne were going to play their best, they're number one. By
Yeah.
far. They're so good when they're good.
Yeah.
But when they're not good, they're not very good. But you think Melbourne?
Yeah, I think Melbourne. I think...
Have you got a backing for that?
yeah, so they haven't been as efficient as they were last season.
Yes.
But them as a system really work quite well. So, not that they're flooding or whatever else, but it seems as though they have more players on the field. And I've always said that, and I don't really know I just base it off, it must be their positioning or something.
What's an eye test thing?
Yeah. So it just seems like they've got more players on the field. It seems like their motor is they're all pretty fit. Yep. And then you've got you've got some pretty, you've got a pretty good big three there in the middle with Oliver, Petrarca and Gawn. So
All big time. And then, considering Viney wasn't even named, he would be the number one midfielder at most clubs. And he probably the best defender in the comp, Stephen May.
Yeah, and one thing they do have a big man up the front, which is an underrated sort of thing. Yep.
And that was their biggest thing when they kind of weren't winning premierships. It was like, why aren't they good? And they didn't have that full forward. And then last year, Ben Brown came in. It was like, that's why.
Yeah, but the other guy, McDonald?
He's not playing. He hasn't played all year.
No, the other guy, wasn't the other guy?
Melksham.
No,
Bailey Fritsch.
But that guy.
Bailey Fritsch in the head.
He's a cheeky little bastard.
Jimmy Neutron.
But yeah, I think they're a really good team. But that's my biggest thing. They just seem to have more players on the field and have better coverage. And I think on I know Sydney have played the MCG plenty of times, but I think on a better field, a bigger field, Melbourne will have it covered.
I think Sydney, if this was played in Sydney win.
Yeah, because it's a slightly different game.
But Melbourne kind of bucked the trend in that, like you mentioned, the higher work rate. Like a lot of teams, their best players seem to be the ones that you're watching. Like if he worked a little bit harder, he'd be incredible. Like that's why Toot Miller's such a gun, because it's like he gives a fuck. Like all the time he cares. And that's the thing, like maybe to start with Melbourne, it was like when Petrarca wasn't considered what he is now, it was like, if he gave a little bit more care factor, he'd be a gun. And now he is. Now he's just incredible. And Clary's, like, it's undeniable, and it's always been never an issue finding the footy, but now he's kind of doing a bit more. He's getting around him. Max Gorn's still the best ruck in the comp.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Melbourne win, but I don't think it's easy. Sydney, and as well, Sydney put a lot of pressure on.
Yeah.
Like, they play hard footy, and I think either way, if Sydney do lose, they'll play Brisbane or Richmond in Sydney. I think the loser will continue on anyway, you know what I mean? Like, both these teams will end up in the Final Four.
Yeah, fair enough.
But best 5 Supercoach scorers for Sydney Swans.
Mills.
Yep, top.
Parker.
Second.
Heaney.
Third.
Papley.
No. Fourth was a breakout midfielder. Ended up outside the SCG after.
I did see that. I can't remember who
Ollie
it was,
Florin
though.
After Buddy's goal.
That's hilarious.
Very good midfielder, finds a footy. His brother and both him and his brother both on contract extensions with Sydney this week. Chad Warner.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
And fifth, a fallen legend who actually still averaged 92.1, but was in everyone's Supercoach team for the last 5 years, the Seagull, halfback, number 44 for Sydney Swans, Jake Lloyd.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
James Bell, the worst, at 35.5. Callum Mills, 1.1 points per minute. Matty Roberts, 0.1. He scored 8 in his one game. Paddy McCartan, the biggest price increase and the biggest love increase, because we all love the story of Pat. Like, if you had to do 3 stories for the year, in no particular order, Sam Doherty, Paddy McCartan, Ben Cunnington.
Yep.
So, and one of them's playing finals in a top 4 team. So good on Paddy McCartan. Him and his brother back there are doing a really good job.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Josh Kennedy, the biggest price decrease, which is disappointing in his final year of footy.
Yeah, that's what forced him out, I heard.
He was at the highest of highs of 120 Supercoach average throughout his career, but then the lowest of lows. And someone from our pod must have contacted and said, hey, your Supercoach average has gone from 93.1 to 65.8.
Time to go.
Might have to give it up. But Isaac Heaney actually ended the year in the most amount of teams, 45.1%. Joel Amati, 78 teams.
Heaney's pretty significant because he is that small forward position, which generally doesn't score. Like, small forwards don't score well. They in games, very effective, but they don't score that well in Supercoach.
You would kind of... Fullbacks and small forwards tend to be the ones where you're like, game impact high, Supercoach impact low.
Well, it depends if they take the kickouts in the fullback.
Well, but typically your fullbacks don't tend to be your best kicks. Yeah. Stephen May, exception to the rule. But even like this Sam Taylor at GWS, Isaac Cumming tends to take most of the kickouts. Yeah. Like Sam de Koning at Geelong. Yeah. Tom Stewart takes most of the kickouts, so you know what I mean. And then your full forwards can go off at any point.
Yeah.
Because goals are gold.
Yep.
West Coast. This is an interesting one because they've got 134,000 players that have played this year.
Yeah.
Or something. Like, there wasn't a single player that played every game for them because of whatever was going on over in the West. But their top 5, I reckon if you can get one,
I was going to say.
you've done well.
Rat Bazzo.
Nah, but I put this in there because I know you'd love it. The biggest dollar increase at West Coast Eagles, $122.8 thousand. Rat Bazzo.
Good on him.
So the big Rat makes an appearance. But your top 5 Supercoach scorers, name another West Coast player.
I can't.
Shannon Hearn, Alex Witherden, Nick Natanui,
Oh, okay.
Jack Redden, Tom Barras.
Oh,
Tom Barras
I
is...
knew that.
Now, Zach will hate me for saying this because he will suggest that Sicily...
Well, he's naughty.
Sicily will be the biggest All-Australian omission, but I think Tom Barras is.
Well, he's not here.
James Sicily a close second, but Tom Barras is big. Isaiah Winder, the worst at 40. Shout out to Jack Williams, -2 in his one game.
Jackie boy.
Jackie boy. That's really all there is to talk about there. Oh, this is a pretty cool one. Shannon Hearn, Nick Natanui both averaged 1.1 points per minute.
Okay.
Now, the only reason they're the highest, because Jake Florenka, I've mentioned him because the coach didn't know what his name was, because Adam Simpson, the coach, he had COVID the week that this bloke played for them. He scored 102 in one game, but he wasn't on the West Coast list at the time, so Supercoach don't count that score.
Oh,
so in Supercoach, he averaged 0. But if this was like worked out the same math, his points per minute would have been 2.
God.
So incredible.
Yeah.
Highest pick percent, Jai Cully, 17.6%.
And he did something silly at the end.
You threw an elbow. Shannon Hearn, their highest average was actually 16th. Highest owned out of West Coast. Last team, Western Bulldogs. I can see you bloody falling asleep standing.
Yeah, I know. I'm so tired. But I might do all right here. Bont.
Yes, 1.
McRae.
2.
English.
4th.
Libba.
5th. 3rd. You're missing him, and I know he's your favourite.
And I would have had him in my team.
Yep, you had him in your team, as did 64.7% of teams, which is the highest out of Western Bulldogs. You're a big fan of his dad.
Oh, Josh Dunkley.
Yes. I'll give you that. That's 5 out of 5.
There
I'll
you
give
go.
you it. Can you name... So this is pretty crazy. They had 6 players averaging over 100. Can you name... Outside of the top 5 there, can you name the 6th?
Okay.
He was in my Supercoach team.
Probably not.
2 first names. Played halfback.
No.
I believe number 31. Don't quote me on it. No. Bailey Dale.
Oh, yep.
So the worst, Josh Bruce, 36.6. Jack McRae actually had the highest points per minute, which does, I think we mentioned in part 1, his time on ground was decreasing.
Yeah.
Over the course of the second half of the season, so he actually had the most points per minute.
Yep. Actually, interesting. I probably, if I had someone, I would have said Norton for number 6. And I was wrong.
Oh, really?
But like that.
Norton not high.
Okay. Norton high.
Not high. Unlike his Specky McGee. Ed Richards, the biggest price increase. Jack McRae, the biggest price decrease.
Yeah.
I think we both could have picked that, unfortunately, for our teams. It's funny, though, unfortunately for our teams. The bloke averaged 115 and we're disappointed.
Yeah.
Wild scenes.
Wild scenes.
But yeah, that's the team's breakdown. Now, I just wanted to pick a couple of cool stats from like the top 5
Give
in
it
each
to
position. Me. So top 5 forwards based on Supercoach average for the year.
Hawk.
Nah.
What?
Don't worry, forget all the teams except for Dogs, because it's Bont, Dunkley, English, Libba, and then Luke Parker.
Okay, there you go.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Is it because of their style of football?
Well, I think it's because all these guys were available as forwards, but played a lot of mid or ruck.
Okay, yeah.
Like, rarely played forward.
Fair enough.
Your highest averaging defender ended up being Jack Sinclair.
Fair enough.
George Hewitt third. That's really all I got. Nothing crazy. If you did pods, Shannon Hearn, for players that were picked in under 10% of teams, he averaged the most.
Yep.
Then Sard, Dale, Witherden, Vloston. In the mid, Merritt, you had him.
Mez.
Then Parrish, Kelly, Wines, Boak. Rucks, Grundy, O'Brien, Nat Nui, Blickvass, then Curvis. Forwards, Libba, 9.1% of teams.
Yeah, I
I flirted with picking him, but his quite clear dependency on cigarettes turned me off.
I almost picked him in the final round because I knew you guys wanted to.
Bailey Smith, shout out Zach, Dylan Moore, Tom Hawkins, Tom Lynch.
Yeah, fair enough.
What have we got? Are we looking forward to the finals?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah?
Yep.
So you got Geelong winning it all.
Yeah, I do.
I think Geelong win it all, but I wouldn't be surprised if a Melbourne turns up.
Yeah, which is fine.
I don't think anyone from...
Is it possible that that's a final or not?
Can we do...
Because that's the other thing.
Because Geelong, if they win, they'll go straight to the semi, and they won't have to... They'll never meet up with Melbourne or Sydney. So, yeah, it is.
Okay.
Very big
That'd be
possibility.
Cool. I reckon Geelong-Melbourne grand final will be huge.
It'd be an enjoyable grand final.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Freo make it, but I don't think anyone from 6th to 8th will.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one from 6th to 8th, I'd love to see Freo there.
Yeah.
But I think, Geelong, Melbourne and Sydney seem to be my top three.
Yeah. Yeah, no, very good.
I wouldn't mind seeing Sydney. I do like the team.
Yeah.
And my wife's family have a lot of Sydney connections.
Yeah, fair enough. This just in. We've got
just coughed.
We've got a little text message
From?
Grazie.
Yeah.
I hate that you guys didn't watch. Scores level at 3/4 time. We win 96-93. Easily the best quality game of footy I've played. Kicked a miraculous goal that was only slightly intentional, but very lucky. How effing good is footy? Good on you, Grazie. Had a big win there, mate. Well done. So I guess he's out for next week. So
it'll be us again.
It'll be us again. So
what are we going to talk about?
Nothing. Nothing much.
Can we finally do the basketball podcast?
Yeah, we might have to. We might dabble in that. But is that all we've got?
Well, we wanted to quickly. What are we on? 34.
Yeah.
We can do 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, sucked in Grazie Essendon won in the AFLW last night. I'm sure that's a thing he won today, so I'm sure he doesn't really care about what happened last night.
Fair enough.
But you and I are both NBA fans, so we want to talk about the structure of the AFL finals why it's the most confusing fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
Now, we enjoy a high-quality 7-game series.
Yeah.
Now, you'll be saying to yourself, how could they play 7 games 4 times in footy? Now, you'd be right. But we're not suggesting 7 games.
No, we're not.
Like best of 3.
Yeah. Because, I actually really enjoyed, although it was weird, that the draw game between Collingwood and St Kilda, and then they came back the next week. So technically, the best team won, and they're definitely the best team because there were more games. So it wasn't, it's not the best team on the day that wins.
It was the best team over 2 days.
Over 2 days, but it was the best team overall. It could be argued with the more games that actually won. So I really like that.
Yeah. Now, it would be hard to implement because you got to have like a week between games, whereas NBA it's like a day, 2 days. But this goes back to my play every team once situation during the year.
Yeah.
18 rounds, and then when we go into finals, it's best of 3 each round. But would you do top 4? So, for example, this year, Geelong, Collingwood, Melbourne, Sydney, they're a best of 3. Dockers, Dogs, Brisbane, Richmond, best of 1. You guys were 5th to 8th. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Or would you say that Geelong should be playing 8th?
Yeah, I don't know, because then it's a bit of a disadvantage because the top teams will play more games. Would that work out like that or not?
Well, yeah, true.
So they need to play equal amount of games.
Well, mate, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, so how do they do it? They play like maybe it's the playing tournament in the NBA
Yeah.
where 7th plays 10th, but 10th has to win twice in a row or something
to get in.
Yeah.
I do like. I think there's something more there for finals rather than just elimination semi-grand final. I think there is something more there, and particularly, I don't know if it's just for the grand final. It could just be there for the grand final. It's a 3-game series. I'm not too sure, but I truly believe that. But yeah, I don't know. I really think it would be. I think the stats would be more interesting on who would win if those games were played if they were stretched. But rather than one, it's like, well, if that was a 3-game series, that team possibly may have won. Because I think overall I find that style really interesting because there are injuries.
Yep.
And you have to change, and there are all sorts of things that go into it. It's not just what happens.
Might have had a bad sleep, travel, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, well, that's the thing is like obviously if you keep having it in Melbourne every week, unless they're both Melbourne-based teams, there's a disadvantage.
Yep.
I don't know what I think they should implement like an NFL rule.
Yeah.
Where they pick the Super Bowl like 3 years in advance.
Yep.
So we're having it in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Like, whereas like 2025, we've looked at all the proposals. Gather.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
I do like that.
Adelaide Oval.
Yep.
And like you might lose money as a company in terms of AFL, but imagine what it's bringing into that, like in terms of tourism into that city.
Yeah.
Like Adelaide. Playing it at Adelaide Oval, which is the nicest ground in the comp. But it's this year, say we've predicted a Geelong-Melbourne final. They're playing at Adelaide Oval. All of a sudden, those teams, fans, need to go there.
Yeah.
They've got to book hotels. They've got to pay for food.
Yeah.
Like, what the AFL loses, the community benefits, and, like... Do the AFL need more money?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Do we need to be giving corporate entities more money?
I'm sure if you asked them, it wouldn't be the number one reason because it'd be like this facility is world class. You know, it's I don't know, it's not the biggest ground, not the smallest ground. It's this and that and the other.
But that should be a factor. Like, that's why like the argument's made. Like, I don't think that is a factor. Like what you said, it probably should be.
Yeah.
But I think it's evidenced by Geelong never getting to play a home final.
Yeah.
It is not a factor. Money is the only factor because Geelong keep finishing in a position where they should get home finals and they never get to play them.
Yeah.
Because they have a smaller home ground.
Yeah.
And so it's clearly not anything but a monetary gain for the AFL that they pick where it's played. MCG has the highest attendance capacity.
Yeah.
Why would they move it to Optus Stadium?
Yep.
But I just think in terms of fairness, if it's a pre-organised ground that isn't just always... Because the hard thing is if it's at the MCG every year, those MCG teams have advantages. Whereas like in the NFL, I think very rarely does... I think it's happened maybe not a lot of times that the home team turns out to be the team where it's... Like Rams last year, it was already sorted that it'd be in LA. And so consequently, the Rams ended up making the Super Bowl and got to play at home. Against Cincinnati. Best halftime, sorry, by the way. But I don't love that part of it, but I think there should be like a 3-game situation because I've played in the soccer. Like my local soccer that I've always played has been like 1v8, you lose, you're out.
Yep.
And 2v7-3, all that kind of stuff. And like, I don't know, it's just not a reflection of the year. What's the point of playing the whole year? The whole point of playing the whole year is to determine 1v8.
Yeah.
Like, why don't they just do a ranking at the start of the year based on list and just be like, oh, you're 16th, you get to play this team.
Yeah.
Like 1v18th, we'll just play 4 weeks. Get in the final, or however many it is, keep halving it, and then you're done. It's the argument with basketball. It's like 48-minute game, but the only parts that matter are the last 2.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, that is interesting how that ends up, but that's a story for another time.
But I think that's all I've got. I think we've filled it in pretty well.
Yep, that's a bloody season wrap. Congratulations to Grazzi for his win. Good on you. But yeah,
Who do they play next week? What is it? What final was that? See, this is the thing with footy. I don't know.
I know.
Was that the quarters or the semis?
I don't know.
But like in the AFL, the second final's the semi-final, but it's not actually the semi-final because then they play the next final.
Oh, okay.
And then it's the grand final
Oh,
or
for
some
goodness
shit.
sake.
I don't know.
Oh,
And
sort
then,
it out.
Why is that the preliminary? What's preliminary
Don't know.
in terms of the finals? But then that's elimination. That makes sense. The losers out.
Yeah.
But why is that preliminary? Because then they get to play again next week. But then also they get to play then later in whatever this final is. But they get to play in this final, which is the semi.
Yep. I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't know.
And then these guys cross over at some point.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It looks like.
And then there's intruders. There's wild cards.
Yeah, well,
Essendon just play for some reason.
on here, on there, that crossover thing looks like hieroglyphics. So I'm not too sure, but. We're going to wrap it up there because, as Huddo said, I'm bloody falling asleep standing up. So.
And our brains will explode
Yes.
trying to figure out how AFL finals work.
Stats. All right, catch you next week, you dogs.
Fuck you, dogs!